David, before we lost you on the phone, I was asking, there are some people, apparently from what I heard in our newscast, not happy in the Liberal Party with the Prime Minister's reaction to this. What's going on?
Well, certain reports are saying that there are some malcontents with how fast, how quickly, first thing Saturday morning. I mean, the first statement from Prime Minister Carney was clear in supporting the action. You have former Liberal, from way back when, during the Jean Chrétien years, you have people like Lloyd Axworthy saying, what about international law? I think the issue here is that there are still, even within the current Liberal infrastructure, there are still people from the Trudeau years, obviously. And let's remember, Justin Trudeau and Mélanie Joly and others were, let's just say, ambiguous since the October 7th attacks on the situation with what was going on in the Middle East. And I think there are certain people that still believe in international law, still believe in the United Nations, and still believe that there is some sort of world order. And Mark Carney said very clearly in his Davos speech, because even some people are trying to say, well, what Mark Carney did Saturday and today is contradicting his Davos position when he was talking about the middle powers, and saying we have to respect some sort of world order. But the fact is that he also said that the situation now with what the U.S. is doing and how Donald Trump is behaving, this whole era has completely put international law and the international world order as we understood it. It just set it aside. It's done. And so what I think Mark Carney is doing is being very pragmatic here. Are you going to be on Iran's side or are you going to be on the U.S. side? And I think there's no ambiguity there. There's moral clarity, actually. Would Canada act in that way? No. In the way that Donald Trump has done? No. But the fact is that right now Mark Carney is in the midst of trying to negotiate a trade deal with the U.S. This is the same president that had his trade team walk out on the Canadian trade team because of a commercial Doug Ford aired. Remember the Ronald Reagan commercial? So and that put an end to that round of negotiations. So the thing is that we're negotiating right now with the U.S. We're trying to get some of these tariffs to come down. Also, we are, we've just negotiated a deal with India. We're off to Australia and Japan again on critical minerals and diversifying our trade relationships. And so, what are we saying here? The fact is that Iran, by the way, you've done it, and we've been hearing about this more and more, but we've heard it for years and years and years, and the last months haven't been different. I mean, Iran is a horrifying dictatorship, and it supports. It's working with Russia against Ukraine. It affects us directly, of course. It sponsors terrorism, et cetera, et cetera. The list is long. It's killing its own citizens by the tens of thousands. Just the attitude towards women. It's killing women that just want to be free. Yeah. And so we could go on and on and on. It's been going on for decades. So the thing is that I think there are still people that think, oh, well, Trump's not respecting the U.S. Constitution, didn't get a UN resolution. This is an act of aggression. Okay, fine. But the fact is, Mark Carney Mark Carney wasn't in the room. Mark Carney didn't do this. So Mark Carney has to deal with the fact that Donald Trump is the way he is, and I think the best path forward right now is to be clear that we're not on the side of Iran in any shape or form.
So let me ask a question. I want to set this up. Here's what I don't understand on all this, David, all right? Mm-hmm. If we are to believe that this is all about, and Mark Carney said it as well, basically providing or not giving Iran the opportunity to develop a nuclear weapon. That seems to be the go-to on this, right? Mm-hmm. My question became, if that's the deal, couple of months ago when they sent in the bunker-busting bombs to take out those tunnels in Iran, which is after their nuclear capabilities were housed, apparently. Why not just do that again? What's this really about if it's not about that?
Well, I think there's a lot of speculation going around, going that this is a type of a wag the dog situation, getting, the attention off Epstein and, or doing the bidding of Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. And, you could go down the list. But the fact is the only person that does know why we're doing this now is Donald Trump. Did he take a taste for it when he did what he did to Maduro in Venezuela? Maybe. Is he, politically, is he trying to find a way to turn his bad fortunes around with the economy? Maybe. There are a lot of different possibilities here, but also it may be that the fact is that, ultimately he didn't see a way to come to a negotiated settlement with Iran. I mean, other presidents have tried. Barack Obama tried. That didn't work. The fact is that many presidents have hit a wall trying to deal with this regime. And maybe, Donald Trump just decided enough's enough. But in terms of why now, nobody knows. The only person that does know is Donald Trump. For me, if I may, the thing is that moving from that is how this is going to shape actually Quebec and Canadian politics in a big way. Because I'm looking, just before we went on, looking at the markets today. The markets were basically stable. But the other thing that did change is, the price of oil.
Yeah. And
it has gone up. Now, it didn't go up like crazy, but this morning it was up, $5-6 a barrel. Now, right now, it's about $4 a barrel. That means that's going to have a direct impact on inflation, because what's been keeping inflation artificially low is the low price of oil. Because there's food inflation, housing inflation, all the other indicators have been up for now years and still going up. But what kept inflation around 2% and gave us this false sense of comfort overall was the low price of oil. And that's changing now. So the uncertainty coupled with the now rising price of oil, this is going to have a direct impact on our economy. And it's going to increase the pressure on Mark Carney, but also in Quebec politics on all the political leaders, including Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon and the PQ, to get off the referendum talk, because even Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon now has now said, we'll wait to 2029 or 2030, if ever. Because people are now too concerned with the uncertainty. Now, this adds to the uncertainty, and so affordability, housing, and healthcare become even more. These were all already in the 65-70% rank in terms of the top priorities for Quebecers and Canadians, by the way. But for Quebecers, at 6 months away from a political election campaign, this is now becoming the whole ball of wax in terms of who is going to stand out as the leader between Fréchette, Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon, Charles Milliard, and Éric Duhaime, who can really convince Quebecers, I'm the one that can weather the storm, the same way that Mark Carney was able to convince Canadians last year during the April campaign.
David, I got to wrap up. Just want to ask you this. Do you think in a month from now we'll still be talking about this story?
Yes. There's going to be fallout. There's going to be consequences. This war, how it starts.
Well, I'm only asking because if you look at Venezuela, not that it's a comparable situation, but to some degree, when's the last time anyone even brought up Venezuela in the past couple of weeks? It's never come up.
Agreed. But I think you're dealing with a much more complicated. I understand, and you're totally right about Venezuela, Aaron. No doubt about it. But the thing is that what we're doing now, even the president says this is a 4-week operation.
Yeah.
And also, you're talking about a regime that is much more, as you said yourself earlier in the show, this is a regime that is much more organized, that has a very complex and decentralized command structure. this is not a paper tiger, and so are they going to fold automatically? I don't think so.
Not likely.
And also, I mean, we're talking about also a big part of the Muslim world. I mean, this is also the Shia Muslims, and so there's all those ramifications that need to be taken into consideration as well. And it's not as simple as cutting the head off this body.
David Heurtel. David, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Introducing Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio. Hosted by Bryan Adams himself.
Join me for an insider look on a wild ride through 40 years of global rock and roll.
Bryan Adams Radio. Now available on the free iHeartRadio app. Or ask your smart speaker to play Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio.
Who's ready to rock?
Kids wanna rock.